Hello, and welcome back to our Curse Plays Arma 3 Laws of War. Let's go ahead and dive into another mission here, shall we?
Hello. How'd you get here?
Another find.
Mm-hmm. Laser designator. Anything Special Forces would use to call in an airstrike.
Oh, interesting. Actually, the airstrike on the town, the details of that are fuzzy. Do you happen to remember it well? The airstrike, I mean.
Yeah. October 13th. Cluster bomb. Town was shook up pretty bad. The army just wasn't able to capture the place. And Colonel Arcanteros, he did not tolerate failure. So he asked foreign powers to intervene. Come in, break the guerrillas' resolve.
Right. And the evidence in the commission report, doesn't it point to CSAT?
Yeah. But truth can be the first casualty of war.
Sure, but didn't somebody witness them in action?
From a distance, yeah. Though he wasn't exactly what you'd call reliable. Guy was a goat herd. Barely spoke any English.
That was not in the report I read.
It never is. Still, he did say they came down by parachute, and that at least was corroborated by multiple sources.
درگیری سلاح ایسا 600 متر غرب
These operatives, then? They moved in on the castle?
Yep. Must have been a fire team at least.
چیزی میبینم سرباز نیم کیلومتر سمت 285 درگیری مسلسلچی نیم کیلومتر غرب دشمن دیده شد مسلسلچی نیم کیلومتر غرب
The man who claimed to have seen all of this, is there anything else you can tell me about him?
Not much. Like I say, simple goat herd. Lived alone. Small stone shed just north of the castle.
Alright, so a bit of a sneaking mission here.
هدف مشخص درگیری سرباز 300 متر غرب
سربازها به میل خودتون شلیک کنین
Okay, let's get back to CSAT. What were they doing there, on Altis, at this time?
They were an embedded training team, ETT. Officially, they were just there to oversee counterinsurgency operations.
And unofficially?
Anyone's guess. A lot of different rumors. Black sites, car bombs, false flags.
It's actually really rare in any of these campaigns that we get to see things from CSAT's perspective.
درگیری مسلسلچی 200 متر جلوتر
The guerrillas were taken out one by one.
I don't know what they're shooting at.
درگیری تیرانداز 100 متر در جلو.
I don't like the fact that he got away.
When things kicked off, there was a short burst of panicked radio chatter.
درگیری سرباز 100 متر جلوتر.
Shots were fired.
دشمن رو زدم. درگیری سرباز 100 متر در جلو. درگیری 75 متر جلوتر.
Let's just make our way forward.
درگیری افسر 100 متر جلوتر. درگیری سرباز 100 متر جلوتر.
درگیری افسر زدمش.
Nine rounds left in the mag.
100 متر جلوتر.
Alright, I think that's everybody.
Then, silence. If we're to believe the goat herd, they then set up a position on the battlements, moved to a vantage point on the castle's outer wall.
Okay, according to my notes, several targets were identified from afar, presumably by these special forces at the castle.
The house/fortress where Alexis lived was a key target.
Does that match up with events as they were given to you?
Yeah, though to manage a guided strike like that, they must have had thermal imaging. There was a beautiful oak tree here, over 300 years old. It had survived countless conflicts. 3 armed off-roads were destroyed in the attack.
So, IDAP's camp, there weren't any injuries?
No, a miracle, really. Although if we hadn't relocated to the church when we did, it would have been a different story.
درگیری هدف
Barricade was
ناشناس
damaged,
نیم
but it
کیلومتر
held
سمت
together.
195.
A machine gunner had climbed up onto one of the rooftops. Atop of the water tower, the guerrillas had a sniper's nest.
درخواست حمله هوایی به موقعیت فرستاده شد. تمام.
Alright.
Copy that. Strike aircraft on the way. Out.
Do you know why the government signed off on such a heavy-handed response? A cluster bomb? That's rather indiscriminate, even if it was laser-guided.
Sure, I mean, with a designator, you just switch it on, aim it at, well, whatever. The idea is that you remain in place, keep the laser on target. But even if it's done perfectly, a lot of uncontrolled variables. One of our doctors was out on the front line with medical supplies.
Wait, he wasn't at the church?
No, he was out in the open.
So, I'm going to save here, because it really seems like this strike is hit or miss in regards as to actually completing the objectives.
آتش بس لعنتی.
Here it comes.
By all accounts, the town just seemed to explode. Buildings were burning for days.
And this spotter, he just disappeared?
Yeah. Last seen leaving the castle, heading west.
Let's talk about IDAP's doctor. You said he was on his way to the church. Did he make it there?
No. He lost his life. Killed trying to save others.
What's the thing about cluster bombs? That they're immensely
I can
useful.
certainly say the devastation was severe. Dozens killed, combatants and non-combatants alike. The guerrillas, they were in total disarray. Many fled, retreating to the mountains. And IDAP, we did what we could, but there were so many wounded. So many we'd never be able to identify.
Now, I was going to say
Okay.
that
No, I'm still here. I just need to grab something real quick. This'll only take a sec.
cluster bombs are really useful against what we call troops in the open. So, like, they're really supposed to be used on, targets of multiple infantry, confirmed positions. Bombing a town like that with a cluster of munition is... First of all, it's a horrible way to use the weapon. It's immensely inefficient. Although AAF got the terror strike that they wanted. Because the thing about guerrilla groups and militias is that they're all volunteers. There's nothing there that holds them to the fight, except for like their own beliefs. And generally, when it comes to like a militia or a guerrilla group, I mean, if you make it dangerous enough for them to try and resist, the thinking goes that oftentimes they'll stop resisting. We actually have seen that with in America with the there have been a couple of instances of militia groups either taking control of federal property or on January 6th, 2022. Was it 2022? But basically when President Biden was prior to President Biden getting elected, there was basically an insurrection at the Capitol in the U.S. and the militias there, they didn't seem to know what to do or what they were doing, and the whole thing fell apart.
I understand
Which,
that
thank
CSAT
God it did.
denied any involvement.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe with good reason.
Oh,
Look, I don't know. There were shell casings found at the castle. NATO mil-spec.
okay. So then, either they were supplying the guerrillas or...
Or they were there. Maybe trying to win back the government support. Maybe...
What?
I don't know.
Maybe it was Captain Miller and his team, because they seem to play both sides of this conflict quite a bit. It's one of those things where I like that they're not totally casting CSAT as the bad guys, like in all cases. Because both sides do all this stuff.
Hear that? Sounds like our delivery drone.
I'm on it.
Just, check the box underneath for the toolkit.
I swear to God, Andy, if it's empty again.
That was one time. Trust me, you'll be dicking around with landmines soon enough, Mac.
Alright, and that's a good place to end it there. Thank you for watching. This is Arcturus.